Greetings and welcome back to room 303 in our Talks with Walt, as we are calling our readings through the deathbed edition of Walt Whitman's Leaves of Grass. We turn now to the poem Memories. This is a little poem, number 14 of the 58 of Sands at 70. It's interesting to see how, as Whitman got older, he became, as is often the case, a little more nostalgic, and he starts looking back and trying to capture that idea of the memories of his life. Now, our assumptions are that you've been with us at learnstrong.net, down that left-hand side, Talks with Walt, right from the very beginning, and from our inscriptions poems up to and including a set of comments, introductory comments to Sands at 70, and we just finished with America. Now, our Nortons will tell us that this poem, Memories, was first published in this group in November Boughs of 1880. And that's all that they will give, and that's all that really is given to us about this poem. Let's enjoy it, though, and let's remind ourselves that the word memories was used in the base of all metaphysics. This is another one of those really short poems, and yet I think has some very interesting things to say about it. How sweet the silent backward tracings, the wanderings as in dreams, the meditation of old times resumed, their loves, joys, persons, voyages. Now, I love that he begins with a line that ends with an exclamation point. That is to say, these are going to be happy memories. How sweet. Go back to the old cause the very first time he used this word. Obviously, he loves to use the word sweet in Leaves of Grass. How sweet, notice the S sounds in this, how sweet the silent backward tracings. And the silent backward is fun, right? That is to say, memories don't have any kind of sound. They're silent. The backward tracings is interesting because tracings only gets used one time in all Leaves of Grass, and it's right here. I'm always interested anytime that Whitman only uses a word one time in Leaves of Grass. Of course, the second line, the wanderings, takes us immediately, obviously, to Homer and to the Odyssey. It takes us to Song of the Exposition, too. The wanderings as in dreams. And we've seen this so often. I mean, obviously, Sleepers comes to mind. And then his use of the dash. The meditation, this takes us back to Crossing Brooklyn Ferry, number 1. So much of, I said this in my introductory comments to you guys about Sands at 70. So much of Sands at 70 in the poems have echoes back to maybe the greatest poem in Leaves of Grass, Crossing Brooklyn Ferry. This was from Meditations, remember, from Brooklyn Ferry 1. The meditation of old times. I told you guys about his use of the word old, and here we are back at it again. Old times resumed. You'll remember this, resumed and resume. Their loves. Notice you're going to get 4 of these now. Joys. We've seen this so regularly, his use of the word joys. Persons, the people in his life. And then finally, voyages immediately takes us, obviously, to passage to India. What are we going to say about this poem in terms of themes, messages? Well, I think one of the arguments is that if you've lived a rich life, and he obviously lived a very rich life, then old age will bring about many memories that we will trace, right? That hopefully will be traced. At 2b, I notice right away the soft tone of this poem. Go back and read it later on your own. The way in which the poem naturally gives itself to almost being whispered when it's read. How sweet the silent backward tracings, the wanderings as in dreams. It lends itself, I think the word choice lends itself that way. At 3a, the base of all metaphysics comes back to mind here. Finally, at 3b, what are your most precious memories? And what memories do you think you'll have when you're old? For some of you, because you've done this reading and study of every poem of Leaves of Grass, hopefully it might even be this experience. I hope so. Thank you.